All that glitters is gold, and she's buying a stairway to heaven. When she gets there, she knows if the stores are all closed, with a word she can get what she came for. And she's buying a stairway here. There's a sign on the wall, but she wants to be sure, 'cause you know sometimes words have two meanings. In a tree by the brook, there's a songbird who sings. Sometimes all of our thoughts are misgiven. moving, everybody rock steady. It's time, now it's time. Get on the ball, get on the right track. No time to lose, there's no looking back. It's time, I said it's time. Hey now, what you gonna do if that passes you by? You get left alone and wonder why. The time is now, no hesitating. You got the green light, tell me why are you waiting? It's time, I said it's time. Shake it up. Let it be free. He's got the idea right there. Well, the clock is ticking, no time for talking. If you can't hit your ride, you better start walking. It's time, I said it's time. Oh, get on the ball, get on the right track. No time to lose, no looking back. It's time, ooh, I said it's time. 2, 3, 4, Lord, Lord, what you gonna do if that passes you by? You get left alone, you wonder why. Well, the time is now, no hesitating. You got the green light, ooh, why are you waiting? It's time, I said it's time. Talk to me, boys. I like it, I like it. Hey, hey, hey. Lord, Lord, what you gonna do if that passes you by? You get left alone, you wonder why. I said the clock is ticking, there's no time for talking. If you can't hit your ride, you better start walking. It's time. He knows it's time. It's time, man. Do it, do it. The time has come, hope you're ready. Time to get moving, everybody rock steady. It's time, oh, it's time. Get on the ball, get on the right track. No time to lose, no looking back. It's time, I said, yeah, it's time. Yeah, now, what you gonna do if that passes you by? You get left alone, you wonder why. The time has come, I hope you're ready. Time to get moving, everybody rock steady. It's time, groovy time. I mean it's time. It's time. I said it's time. I mean it's time. Whip it. Yeah.
All right, it's time for the Michael J. Steele for Senate Show, coming at you live from downtown Fargo, North Dakota. Welcome to the program. Well, we got a packed house. Everybody's in the audience waiting. Welcome, everybody. I hope everybody's having a great evening. Maybe some people will call in the phone lines tonight. That'd be nice. First of all, I'd like to thank our donors to keep this campaign going. Bernadette Hoven, who donated $500 to the show last Monday. Thank you, Bernadette. From Bismarck, North Dakota, once again, Bernadette Hoven, $500 donation. And Cynthia Warnham Tilson from Ohio donated $500 back in September. Thank you, Cynthia, for your donation. We appreciate that. And we got Joey from the Romantics Adult Sex Toys sent in $50 to the show. Thank you, Joey. We appreciate that. And Joey kept his word, and we're getting some $3 donations, $2 donations. We appreciate that. And thank you for your donations. We're getting down to the last 8 months of the contest here. We got June 14th. We got the primary. I'm about 100 signatures away from getting what I need to get on the June 14th ballot. And we're having our convention March 24th through the 27th in Minot, North Dakota, where they can endorse me or not. If they don't, I'm still going to have enough signatures to stay on the ballot, and that's why I'm doing this anyway, because politics are tricky game. And right now, Joe Heitkamp at KFGO Radio in Fargo has had both the other candidates other than Hoeven on his show. He's had Hoeven a lot, but got this lady from Nebraska. She came out and declared on Valentine's Day, February 14th. She's a assistant professor, adjunct professor at the University of Jamestown, Katrina Christensen. She announced her candidacy. Joel's had her on the show. He introduced her, interviewed her, and then he introduced this Rick Becker, who's a state legislature in Bismarck, GOP, works for the GOP. They both got their airtime. Joel was going to have me on the show twice, and he canceled out within an hour of me going on the show today. I was supposed to get an interview, and Amy Eiler called me and canceled within an hour, so I don't know what's going on. Now Joel's going to Florida. I had my staff call up, and supposedly Joel's going to try to get me on the air when he's in Florida. So I guess he's saving the best till last. But out of fundamental fairness, hopefully you'll get on the Joel Heitkamp show on the mighty 790 KFGO, because I've been listening to that all my life, and I've helped support a lot of candidates and called into that show and done a lot to help with that show and stuff like that. So I'm sure today was because of breaking news with Ukraine. Yeah, a lot going on there with Ukraine. There's a lot going on there. It was actually the story that I covered on my show last night was we got the Legacy Fund in North Dakota, the $8 billion that all of a sudden there was an investigation that was found out by some journalists, and I broke the story last night on my show. We talked about it, where our money in North Dakota, our oil money, is actually being spent right now and invested in Russia and also China, where actually our money is being used right now to invade Ukraine. And the sad part is most of our farmers that settled North Dakota were Germans. They call them the Germans from Russia, in which they were the Germans from the Ukraine. That part of Russia was the Ukraine. And actually people are really upset right now by the Republican Party because they took our money that they claimed they were going to hold for 50 years for our children and grandchildren. They went out and invested it, and now it looks like they're going to be probably losing billions of dollars. And now they got the Governor Burgum trying to get the money back, but he doesn't know what to do. And basically a lot of this money's getting frozen, and it looks like the money they've invested in Russia, they'll probably never get back. So they just lost a lot of money. Yeah, we know it's KX News, but I broke it on here too. KX News had a little bit of, and I quoted KX News. I know GFI or GFJ, whoever you are. I quoted that, but I talked about it on here. And then Joel Heitkamp had it on his show today. And so we've been covering that throughout North Dakota because people are pissed off. And I'm sure John Hoeven had a lot to do with it. And they never invested a penny of this money in North Dakota. And that's what a lot of people are pissed off about, where they should have invested this money in North Dakota, which they never did. Yeah, it was at KX News. I said that. It was journalists in North Dakota broke the story, but I broke it again last night and talked more about it, and I gave the whole detailed report. Joel Heitkamp and Josh Boucher, one of our representatives here, talked very good about it, but they didn't give all the details. I gave a complete detailed overview of it on my show, all the nice little tasty little nuggets on my show. It was pretty good, I thought. Probably one of my best shows I did. So, and I didn't leave anything out. But anyway, they got 89 countries they've invested our North Dakota tax dollars in, where they claim they were just going to let this money set in a savings account for 50 years for our children and grandchildren. Well, and that's bullshit too. And I bitched ever since they talked about this legacy fund because my son is 33, my oldest son, and my youngest is 28. And if they're going to hold that money for 50 years, my son would be 83 and my youngest son would be 78. I'll be dead, and they could be dead by the time they're 83 and 78 years old. And right now, I don't have any grandchildren, so it's all a bunch of bullshit. And it sounds like right now this money's in Russia, and they're going to lose our tax dollars, people, our money that is our oil money. And if you lived in Alaska, you would have got probably $11,000 or $12,000 a year, because this oil money's been getting pumped out of here since 2010. Okay, we've had this oil money building up, $8 billion, and it looks like they're just stealing it from the people. Like I said, I didn't know they were stealing it this fast. I said the people that are in charge of the legislature, the Republican Party, because, you only have 18 Democrats right now in our state house and Senate to 143 Republicans after the gerrymandering, and a couple Democrats are going to resign in the gerrymandering. That's what the picture looks like right now in North Dakota. 18 Democrats to 143 Republicans. And the Republicans are the ones that are behind the theft here, and John Hoeven and everybody stealing our money. And this happened before Doug Burgum came in, our governor. And they're putting it on him to get the money back. And I don't know what he's going to do. It's all... And there's some hush-hush going on. There's classifications where we got an open records policy thanks to Heidi Heitkamp. And they're talking about they want to keep classified documents, keep the record classified. And you got some people that are saying, no, we got to show the records. Well, it's our money. We deserve the right to see the money here in North Dakota. So they're stealing our money. And I didn't know they were stealing it this fast. Okay, I thought they'd wait 10, 20 years till the people forgot about this legacy fund and then steal it. People in North Dakota need the money now, and we could create small businesses, which I have a plan right now that actually went into the state legislature, and I think it's a good time to read the Michael J. Steele Small Business Plan and my policy that I sent to the House, state, and legislature. I'm going to cover that right now. First of all, I'll get the job done when I'm your next representative representing North Dakota, and I'm going to fix our youth addiction problem by incentivizing new startups in North Dakota, okay? And I believe this will give our future generation a purpose and meaning in life to create something new and innovative for our society here in North Dakota, and for the human condition, because the human condition here at times sucks, because we got, it seems like 8-9 months of winter. We definitely got the 4 seasons, everybody says, but there's a lot of depression here, and it's the environment. I'm reaching out to our governor's wife right now to work with me on this issue, okay? There are 3 main areas where we need to increase small business ownership: organic farming, software engineering, and small business healthcare. And by the way, I don't have any special interest money. And if any of your listeners want to donate, they can do so at smallbusinessparty.org/donate. Okay, that's the party that is endorsing me right now, and I don't know if I'm going to get the North Dakota Democratic NPL endorsement, but you can donate to this party who is endorsing the Michael J. Steele for Senate campaign. It's called the smallbusinessparty.org/donate. You can donate to this party. And first of all, organic farming. There are several tools that I can use to increase organic farming in North Dakota. I believe that first we need to create 2 permanent small business committees, one at the North Dakota House and the other at the North Dakota Senate. And these committees combined will have at least 10 members who will work on a pro-small business policies. My team has already contacted both the House and Senate members to start this project in the North Dakota state legislature. Second, if elected, I'll work closely with the United States and North Dakota attorneys general to ensure that no single corporation owns more than 30% of the market in North Dakota. This will guarantee that large monopolies don't undercut our small farmers here in North Dakota, especially our small organic farmers. Third, I will leverage increased organic farming in North Dakota to introduce organic food in all of our schools, not only in North Dakota, but throughout the whole United States. And hopefully North Dakota, we can start here, and this will grow. I believe that our children deserve the best. And we know that consuming organic food decreases the chance of getting cancer by 25%. And I know this for a fact. I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. So if you want to talk about organic food and you want to talk about cancer facts, I know a little bit about this subject because I've had prostate cancer and I don't have a prostate anymore. And I've had bladder cancer. So I know a little bit about this, and God forbid your grandma, grandpa, or your children get cancer of any form. And if you could go right now and your doctor could give you a pill and say, hey, take this pill, we can decrease your chances by 25% of not getting cancer, I bet you'd pay a lot of money for that pill. But I'm offering this through organic food in North Dakota. And also software engineering. With respect to software engineering, it will be critical to increase funding for STEM, which STEM represents science, technology, education, and mathematics. And these programs will have a vibrant innovation centers, which we have in North Dakota through Byron Dorgan at the colleges, but we want to have these through our high schools and throughout all levels. And I want to work with Governor Burgum with his 24 career centers that he claims he's going to be working. And I believe we can have these vibrant innovation centers and be proud of technology that Byron Dorgan brought here, a former Democratic senator, great one that helped bring state-of-the-art technology to NDSU. But we want to bring these to our Governor Burgum's 24 career centers. And a cool thing is my son just started working for a 3D company, and these are the types of jobs that I'm excited about for our youth in the future. And with the small business committee that I'm working with throughout the state here, and trying to get this committee right now with the House and Senate, I think these are future jobs in North Dakota that'll last. Hi, Shannon, welcome to the show. And also small business health care is a big thing in North Dakota that people come to me every day and say, hey, I have a small business. I can't afford health care for my employees. I can barely pay for it myself. Well, when it comes to health care for small businesses, my team has 2 options that we've came up with. On one hand, we can adopt the Switzerland model, where we can increase the number of health insurance companies in North Dakota, which will decrease premiums for small businesses by creating competition. If you create competition in your state by allowing these companies to come in North Dakota, they have to lower the price to get the business. Or on the other hand, if that doesn't happen and that doesn't transpire in the state, we can introduce Medicare for small businesses, where the federal government can come in and fully cover medical, vision, and dental expenses for small businesses that have between 200 and 500 employees. So that's the plan that my team in Washington and me have been working on. That's why I've been going to Washington. I've been flying out of here and going to Washington, D.C. every Tuesday with my staff. And it's good to have lawyers and a staff in D.C. because they talk to government up there, the government and feasibility. We have a feasibility staff up there. And that's why it's good to have people that can talk to the legislatures and government at the seat of government in Washington to make sure we can do this, And we still have our other health care plan right now, where if you have 25 employees or less, you'd pay 10%. If you're an employer and an employee, 10%. Federal government would pick up the other money, and the state would cover it. That's also another option we were looking into, but we kind of like the new plan we've come up with, the Switzerland model or the Medicare plan, which we believe from all the actuaries and everything we've talked to in government, that would be a lot easier to get passed. But we still have the 25 employee or less plan. So we've got different options right now we've looked at in D.C. and with different government people. So that's the Michael J. Steele plan that we've sent to North Dakota. And hopefully they'll start working on these committees, because we're the first ones to ever introduce a committee in North Dakota ever like this for small businesses. And if this takes off, hey, we've done something. But we have a plan. No one else has a plan. All they're doing is complaining about how lousy everything is and how miserable. Well, we've got a plan to fix things, and that's what I'm all about. Is we got a plan, we want to get this going, and we want to help make a difference. And like I said, when we get this small business committee going, it's going to get our youth back to work, because there's been a decline in America since the 70s and 80s, where our youth were not able to get work. For some reason, they're not working like they used to. You know, we got about 20% of the youth now are working through high school now. It used to be in the 70s and 80s where they were getting involved in small businesses to learn, you know, trades and that and go to work. They're not doing it anymore. A lot of kids don't have high school jobs anymore. They're not working. They're taking the summers off to go party, and then you get into drugs and alcoholism. You get into bad things, and you know, idleness is the devil's playground. And that's why we're trying to save these kids from heroin and fentanyl and all these drugs that are killing them right now. And I guess they're lacing the marijuana now with fentanyl and stuff up here in North Dakota, and that's killing a lot of our kids. So there's a lot of stuff that we're aware of. And another thing we're going to have is I'm having a town hall here. And if you're out there listening, come to my town hall in March 23rd. I rented out the Anishinaabe Theater at the Memorial Union at NDSU, North Dakota State University. I'm going to have a town hall there, Michael J. Steele for Senate. I'm sponsoring this. I paid for it. And we're going to have a panel there. So far, we've got a surgeon, ear, nose, and throat surgeon. More or less, he's a throat surgeon that's going to come up and talk about the dangers of smoking and tobacco use for our teens. He's a surgeon, and the things that he's got to cope with and deal with for people that have smoked and have cancer, and tell people what we can do in the community maybe to curb our youth from not starting smoking. So he's going to come there. Dr. Terrell will be there, and then we might have a law enforcement officer there that's going to talk about the drug problem in Fargo and the heroin problem here. And we've been talking to him, but he's going to try to get the day off to be on our panel, a detective. I'm trying to get him, but that's not for sure. And then we're going to have a couple more people on the panel, and then we're working on that right now. So I got some time to get the panel all together. That'll be March 23rd at 7 o'clock at the Anishinaabe Theater at the Memorial Union at North Dakota State University. It's a big auditorium I rented, and it's a town hall I'm going to have, sponsored by me, Michael J. Steele. I'll be there to be part of this town hall to help with some issues that we're facing right now in our state, and try to come up with some answers of things we can do to curb the drug problem for our youth, and maybe some other issues where we can help them get summer jobs and some things we can do. So that'll be broadcast. I'm sure the media there, but we'll have it on, we're going to have it live on Facebook. I'll be broadcasting it live too. So, but if you could show up and come and be in the crowd, it's going to be a town hall where you can participate and have questions and answers, you know, and we'll have microphones there, and come on out. I hope to see. It's going to be 3 hours. I'm going to make it from 7 to 10 o'clock on a Wednesday night. So I hope to see if you can come to it. That'd be great. I'd like to fill every seat if we could. And you can ask me anything you want. I'll be there doing question and answers about my campaign. And you can ask the doctor there. We're going to have a doctor for sure there, a surgeon. Dr. Terrell's going to be there. He's in. So we want Dr. Terrell there for certain. And he can tell you about cancer. This guy does surgeries for throat cancer, and he can tell you what's going on with that and about procedures. So we hope to see you guys there. GFJ asked how many seats are available will there be enough? I've never been there. Right now, I believe there's 280 seats, but there is a foyer outside there with a speaker and that. So I think there's 280 seats in the theater, I believe, and then there's seats outside the foyer with speakers, so you can actually sit outside in the Union, and you can actually probably hear speaking. So there is an overflow there. So if we fill it, you can always go in the overflow. Oh, and there's free parking too. So, I mean, there'll be all kinds of parking. We've already addressed that. So there's going to be a parking lot there, and it's free parking after 5. So you guys will be coming at 7. So, yeah, so come on, bring your family and come, and you'll get to meet me, and you can ask me questions. You can talk to the doctor, and hopefully the detective, I don't want to even bring his name up, but we're going to have a detective there. And hopefully he can get time off right now. He's waiting to talk to the Fargo Police Department. And if not, he's going to try to get somebody else that can come. And then we're going to get 2 more other people on the panel. I'd like to have 5 of us on the panel and then our MC right now. We might have an MC, I think. Hopefully the Master of Ceremonies will be here. And her name is Sarah. Are you going to be Sarah, you going to be our MC? I don't know if Sarah will be there. I don't know. Can I count on you, Sarah, or not? I don't know. Hey, maybe Sarah too. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a community event, and I hope everybody shows up. So, and we'll be there and we got 3 hours, so it's going to be. You got plenty of time to ask your questions, and everybody there should be able to get their questions answered and talk to your favorite detective, your favorite doctor, and ask me more about my plan, and so, I mean, I covered a lot of the specifics tonight on my small business plan, so there's always caveats here, but that's why you have legislatures to figure out all the details, because the devil is in the details on 99% of this stuff that you figure out when it comes to legislative policy, and that's what the legislatures are supposed to work out, so. But I'll tell you what, it's better to have this committee than not have a committee, because once we get it rolling, it's going to help save the middle class. That's what this is all about. And if North Dakota turns this down, then we do it from the federal level. And I do it when I get elected in the federal. But I think they're probably going to do it. They'd be fools not to, But then again, look at how we were all fooled and our money got invested in Russia right now in North Dakota, my Lord, by the Republican Party. They got 4 oil companies they invested in, and natural gas. I'm sorry, it was 4 natural gas companies in Russia, and a lot of our big chunk of that $8 billion was invested, and one of it was an oil company that competes with our oil company in North Dakota. Can you believe that? That was what they were talking about on Joel Heitkamp today. They were saying one of the oil companies that this $8 billion that the Republicans invested in Russia is a competing oil company that competes with North Dakota Oil, just to top it all off. So we gave our competitors a bunch of our money from our oil, and the people in North Dakota had no idea this was going on because they got a board of trustees. There's 12 on this board that was doing all this corruption and all this stuff behind everybody's back, lying to us. So, my goodness, it's terrible, Yeah, I could, yeah, that's a good idea. I could challenge a Nebraska person to debate me there. That'd be great. I've already said it on this show. I will debate the lady from Nebraska anytime, any place she wants to. I'm ready. I'm prepared with the issues. I'd love to, And like I say, I've got a plan. I'm letting it out on the airwaves now. We've sent it to the legislature before it gets stolen. It seems like I've been doing this for 4 years. A lot of my stuff gets stolen and used by other candidates, and we're letting this out. So that's the big thing. GFJ said it was released today that North Dakota invested $16 million in Russia with his 1/10 of 1% of the total amount. Well, there was a little more than that. Yeah, I read the whole story. There was a little more than than that there. There was more than 16 million there, you know. So that's, I don't know. They got a little bit of that because there's classified portions of the of that part where they don't want to talk about it, see? And they don't, the guys that were on the board don't want to talk about it, and that's what's really kind of crappy. And the people want to open policy here in North Dakota. They want open records, and Heidi Heitkamp made it where we have open records, and they're saying that these companies are private. It's like a private firm or something that's doing this investment firm, and they're not. They can't open up the records. Well, it's classified bullshit. It's our tax dollars, so it's open record, you know. But there's more than what you say there. Way more than 16 million, because they were talking on Joel's today. There's four different counts there. Okay, there was 23 million. They said in one account over there, and they've invested in 89 countries. Our 8 billion is invested in 89 countries, and they got the Uyghur people in China. That's a minority. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right or not. The Uyghur, it's a minority. They've been killing these people off in China. And the money that we've sent over to China, now they found out, they backtracked it, the investigators through FOIA, found out that the money we're giving to China has killed off a lot of these, this minority group over in China, that they enslave them, they treat them horribly, and then a lot of times they work them to death and kill them off. Our money's not only invested in Russia, the North Dakota money, which is killing Ukrainians, it's also invested in China too. So, I mean, this gets worse and worse. The more that the FOIA come out, the more this goes. And our money's invested in 89 countries. So there's way more than $16 million tied up here. So this thing really, the more that we were digging into it, the more we found out it stinks. This whole thing is just unbelievable what the Republican Party's doing in North Dakota. And I've been saying it for years. You know, you can't trust these guys, you know, and nobody's bringing John Hoeven into the picture. Nobody. They're all covering for John Hoeven, and he's behind the whole thing because he's been in Russia since they've been investing the money over there. He was in Russia for 2 weeks in 2018. He's taken several trips to Russia, and he won't answer anybody that asks, what were you doing in Russia in 2018 during the 4th of July? When I was over at MSUM at my college, celebrating the 4th of July, blowing up fireworks and listening to bands, doing the American celebration, and he was over there with Putin. Well, you know what he was doing? He was making deals over there with Russia, you know. So, anyway, that brings our next story here. We got a new story I want to bring up. That's a good segue here on the program. John Hoeven not answering. You know, John Hoeven's a part of this, you know, because he was over in Russia, basically. He's part of this swindle, too, you guys. He's got $52 million. My opponent, United States Senator Hoeven, he's worth $52 million. So he's part of this. But the real reason Tucker Carlson supports Russia's Putin, okay? People across the left, including me, routinely lambaste Fox News megastar Tucker Carlson for his alarming right-wing populist screeds, you know. But this past week, as Carlson downplayed concerns about Russia's invasion of Ukraine up until Moscow began a full-fledged incursion, something striking happened. Critics began to deem him a traitor, okay? For some activists, lawmakers, and commentators, Carlson's decision to minimize Russia's imminent invasion and push back against critics of Vladimir Putin meant he was siding with Russia against the U.S., but that's a misread. Carlson isn't in favor of Russia over America or angling to aid Russia in dominating or controlling the U.S. He wants the U.S. to be like Russia, in accordance with paleo-conservative and white nationalist principles. He has an aversion to foreign interventionism so American militarism can grow at home. Carlson's ideas are dangerous and must be fought, but loyalty rhetoric misses the real problem. Furthermore, the traitor insult is one that could derail the quality of our national debate at a critical time. Setting Carlson aside, there is great risk in associating opposition to war with betrayal of the Republic. In the run-up to the invasion, Carlson persistently downplayed the severity of what Russia could be doing and pushed back against the prospect of American involvement. He characterized the situation as a border dispute, distracting from the reality of Russia's year-long meddling in eastern Ukraine and the illegality of Putin's recognizing and ordering troops into Ukraine's eastern separatist-held regions. Carlson urged Ukraine was not a democracy to degenerate the case for America supporting it. He posted a ludicrous theory that Democrats stand to benefit financially from war in the Ukraine, and he delivered a long monologue about how Americans are socialized to hate Putin, even though he's not responsible for what Carlson sees as America's primary social ills. Has Putin ever called me a racist? Has he threatened to get me fired for disagreeing with him? Has he shipped every middle-class job in my town to Russia? That monologue was in fact replayed by Russian state-sponsored television because it served naturally as Russian propaganda. These kinds of comments sparked widespread claim that Carlson was a traitor, and an analyst at the Bulwark, William Salton, characterized Carlson's behavior as anti-American, pro-Russian, and treacherous. But if you examine Carlson's rhetoric and political project carefully, it's difficult to understand the constant charges that Carlson is some kind of Russian agent. Carlson isn't in Putin's pocket. He wasn't arguing that the U.S. should concede something that belongs to it to Russia. He didn't give information to Russia to undermine America's political system or vital interests. Instead, what Carlson was doing was making an argument against risking war or escalation with a powerful country that isn't at war with the U.S. It should be noted that after Russia invaded, Carlson's tone shifted. He argued that Russia should be punished and that President Joe Biden had failed to show bite, but still he cautioned against policies that could be costly for the U.S. or cause the war to escalate. Now, the way Carlson made the argument warrants criticism. It was conspiratorial, involved falsehoods, and was morally impoverished. But the substantive position was, I want Russia to hurt or dominate the U.S. It was effectively going to war with Russia is not worthwhile. And to understand what's motivating him, one must remember that his rhetoric is in service of his white nationalist, right-wing, populist worldview. Carlson's ideology is like Steve Bannon and Donald Trump, seeing Putin somehow as a shared worldview authoritarian, fiercely nationalistic, happily bigoted. They see themselves as part of a shared ideological project, and we can see in Hungary's emergence as politico-intellectual hotspot for Western white nationalists, how a pocket of reactionary politics in non-Western Europe provide fertile territory for this to think and organize. We wouldn't describe Carlson's affection for Hungary's authoritarian leader, Viktor Orban, as being treacherous, but rather as an expression of international solidarity with extreme right-wing elements abroad. So Tucker Carlson, is just a Fruit Loop. He's Trump, called Putin a genius. He said, man, I should be there. I just sighed. And God, me and him, when I was president, were the best friends, and we just got along so great, and now Carlson is right there too. The ones we got to watch out for, like I said on this show, is China. We got to keep an eye on China, but China's telling Russia to back down. But right now you got 40-mile convoy coming into Kyiv tonight, and that's where something bad's going down, people. 40-mile convoy of Russians coming into Kyiv tonight. So something is coming down the pike, and that is scary. So we got some shit's going to hit the fan here tonight. There's a story right now. A lady said she rejected $1 million severance pay so she could speak the truth. Former Levi executive Jennifer Sey, S-E-Y-C, she resigned from her position, saying she was forced out after voicing her opinion that schools should remain open during the COVID-19 pandemic. Before COVID-19, Jennifer Sey's path seemed pretty straightforward. Chief Marketing Officer at Levi Strauss with a 20-year tenure at the company. Sey had been at the CEO track. She was even promoted to brand president in October 2020. The brand was performing really well. I had a good year in review, and she said I was recognized as a strong leader. Sey recounted to know your value. Sey is 52 years old. I never would have guessed that. A year later, she would have to resign from Levi Strauss as a result of her views on COVID-19. She said she rejected a $1 million buyout so that she would be able to tell her story publicly. She said she was caught in a politicized battle, according to Sey, what started as an effort to get kids back into in-person schooling during COVID-19 ballooned into a controversy over free speech and political polarization. During the pandemic, Sey started becoming increasingly vocal about school closures in her city, San Francisco. As a mother of 4 children and the sole breadwinner of the household, her husband Daniel is a stay-at-home dad. Sey was concerned that the city's strict school closures were affecting a whole generation of children. She said she found it troubling because children were being harmed, and the most disadvantaged were being harmed the most. She said, we've read about the psychological harms, the social isolation, the learning loss. Children were being denied. This felt so wrong to me, she said. Sey has 2 college-age children, a first grader and a preschooler. In 2020, her second youngest child entered kindergarten virtually. What was concerning to her was that her first experience at school was so horrible. You want them to like school, and he didn't get any of that. He was alone on a computer looking at a screen, she said. Sey began posting on her social media pages about San Francisco's closures, which had been among the strictest in the nation. The closures pitted a group of parents in a long, ongoing battle against the district school board, and Sey was heavily involved. To Sey, it was simply about the kids and the broader political conversation. However, Democrats have typically leaned toward stricter school closures during the COVID-19, while Republicans have spoken in favor of keeping schools open. San Francisco is traditionally Democratic. Sey moved her family to a more moderate city of Denver, where they have been enjoying in-person learning. Hey, Michael's calling in. Hey, Michael, how you doing? She said kids shouldn't be a political issue, and Sey, but they have been made into one. So, I mean, anyway, she refused $1 million so she could tell her story. The lady here at Levi Strauss. What's going on, Michael? How you doing?
Good. Hey, I was just thinking, with all this talk about Ukraine, the one thing people don't think about is a country when it's attacked, it doesn't matter what political party you're with. When your country's attacked, you have everybody come together to repel whatever country is attacking you.
Right.
And you see the people in Ukraine, they want to be free. Doesn't matter what political party, they're all staying there and they're fighting. And we should look at that and say, wow, wonder if somebody attacked our country and tried to take it over and get rid of everything that we know. I mean, there's things that we got problems, yeah, but political party doesn't mean nothing. It's one country against another. And I'm just impressed with the Ukrainian people standing there and saying, you know what, we want to be free. And we're not going to let somebody come into our country and tell us how to live. I'm excited just listening to the people talk.
Yeah, there were 500,000 that did scoot the hell out of there, though. 500,000 that are out of there now. They left 500,000.
Yeah, a lot of them women and children.
Right.
They're trying to get them out of harm's way,
Yeah.
but they're not going to let some other country come in their country and then dictate to them.
And what do you think of
You know,
this
once you
40
taste
mile?
freedom,
What do you think this 40-mile caravan coming
we have
from
to
Russia?
wait and see. It could be all propaganda.
Yeah, but
Everything could be
yeah, it
propaganda.
could be, but they say they got satellite images of a 40-mile caravan of Russian soldiers. Hi, Julian Wild. Welcome to the Michael J. Steele for Senate show. What's on your mind? How you doing?
Well, I quite disagree with the person you're talking to, because I think they should have talked to basically out rather than go to war and cause lives.
Yeah, I'm with
Personally.
you too. I don't want any.
I mean, I think that they were basically really, all he wanted was to keep NATO away from them. And really, if Ukraine president had been more willing to say, look, let's talk about it, I think he would have backed off. That's my idea anyway.
You think Putin would have backed
What do
off?
you mean? Wait. What is she talking about? That Putin would have backed off?
I don't think fighting is the way, because it's going to cost lives.
It's not.
isn't
It's
it?
beyond fighting now. The Russians moved into the Ukraine. They crossed
Look,
over
America
the border. It doesn't
didn't
matter
help.
now. Fighting. That's all you have now. So
The
you're
American
saying that
and
the Ukrainian president should have sucked up to Putin to
no,
prevent him from coming in?
no, but he didn't help. Biden kept going, no, we're going
Oh, you're
to
talking
just,
about Biden. I'm sorry.
Biden.
I thought you were talking about the Ukrainian president.
No, I'm talking about Ukrainian. I'm talking about everybody. They should have just Biden, but they didn't help. Biden didn't help. Nor
So
did us.
why is it
Rallying
okay for
against
the
them.
Russians to invade a sovereign nation? What's the point? See, that don't make no sense. Ukraine is its own country. It's a sovereign nation.
Look, it wasn't. It was part of Russia.
No.
So
That was the
basically
Soviet
it was.
Union, and that was dissolved.
I know it was dissolved.
So
And they
what
were
you're
still
saying is that
fighting
the
amongst
Soviet Union can go
themselves.
in there and take all of them back, is what you're saying. That's what it sounds
No,
like.
I'm not. I'm not saying that at all.
So you believe in the
saying,
Cold War, is what I'm hearing.
No, I don't. At all. I don't believe in any of it, to be honest. So don't get me thinking I agree with the Russians.
Oh, no,
all the
but what
time.
I'm saying, you just said it's okay for Putin to go into another country because they were part of the Soviet Union, which was dissolved and don't exist no more.
Yeah, but at the same, why couldn't NATO basically just say, Ukraine just say, I don't want to be part of NATO? See what happened then. But they didn't even say that, did they? They were Biden, and we were saying, gun go, let's not talk, let's not basically, you know what I mean? There was no talking. We were going over there threatening, cornering, threatening.
Well,
You're talking about NATO.
NATO, yes, NATO's
Okay.
more trouble than what it's worth. And if they did, he was worried about NATO basically being in his backyard,
well,
and that's what he didn't want.
Well, that's true right there. That's true because the only country right now that's not part of NATO is the Ukraine. But it was a sovereign nation. It was its own country. And by the Russians going in there now, they've went in and they've attacked a sovereign nation. And that's what you have to look at. So that's what I was saying. The Ukrainian people have had a taste of freedom. They're not part of the Soviet bloc no more. And they've had a taste of freedom, and they're going to fight for their freedom.
Americans are basically hypocrites. When they wanted to bend their back door, where was it? I can't remember. They were soon fighting. I can't remember where it was, but they
Well,
didn't
we
like
wouldn't be
it when
involved
they
in stuff
simply-
if the rest of the world would maintain, you know. We would have never got involved in World War II.
No, well, we wouldn't have got in war, but we did, and but why should we keep carrying on more and more wars?
Well, that's what the question should be to Putin. It shouldn't be to us. Why
Well,
are
why
you talking
didn't
about the
you all go
United
there?
States and NATO?
Yes, well, basically, they should have just talked a bit better. They
Talk
didn't even
doesn't always
panic.
make things happen.
Oh, no, nor does fighting either, nor does killing people. And they're killing each other. It's not just
Well, I think
basically
everybody
Russia.
should be looking at the Russians, not anybody else, because the Russians crossed over a border and they're bombing people in a sovereign nation. So that's a problem. I mean, there's nothing you can say. You can't blame the United States for that and say about talk. The Ukraine is a sovereign nation.
Yeah,
They're their own country.
but
So you're basically
it's
saying let the Soviet Union come back is what I'm hearing. Let the Soviet Union come back and all the Eastern Bloc countries. Let's go back to that and let's go back to the Cold War and let's start talking about nuclear warfare again. And
basically
about who has how
Soviet
many
Union.
missiles.
They wanted to be part of NATO, Soviet Union, but we wouldn't let them. We wouldn't let them. Why wouldn't we let them? They wanted
Think
to be part
about
of
it.
NATO.
Think about it. You said the Soviet Union wanted to be part of NATO. Think about it.
Yes.
You should know the
thought
answer.
About it.
They were part of the Warsaw Pact.
Why couldn't they? You know, it's always Russia. You know, we've had the Cold War. Why can't we just forget about it and keep going on about Russia, Russia, Russia? You know.
Well, I think the concern here is we're talking about the Ukraine and about a country that invaded.
Yeah.
Another country. It has nothing to do with NATO. Take NATO out of it. If the Soviet Union wouldn't have crossed the border, we wouldn't be talking about this. Okay? We could look at NATO not supporting or not letting somebody in, but that's not relevant now.
But what does it relevant? Giving them arms? The first time they've actually basically given them loads of arms.
Give them arms. Sell them.
Isn't that going to encourage it? Isn't it going to make them more say, go, let's go.
We just gave them 350. We just gave them 359 million, and now Biden wants to give them 1.7 billion. Now he's going to Congress to give them 1.7 billion more aid. After we just gave them 359 million now, so our president wants to give them 1.7 billion more aid to Ukraine as humanitarian aid. But you know, if they're at a war, they're not going to use that as humanitarian aid. They're going to use it for weapons to defend themselves. But when you got a 40-mile caravan coming in that country right now that they're seeing with drones, are seeing it. There's something bigger coming down the pike right now with Russia. You know, they're coming in to take that Ukraine right now. So I don't know what's going to happen. It could be over real quick, this war. And,
we've given up to Leah.
Well, we don't want a nuclear. We don't want a nuclear holocaust. Nobody wants a nuclear holocaust because Putin's the one that's already said he'll use nukes. He's come out and said it. If anybody gets in his way, he's going to use nukes, and that's what he said. So that's what the problem is. He's the problem. He's nutty enough to use them. He's the one that's the aggressor here, and we haven't had an aggressor like this since Hitler in 1938. He's acting like Hitler right now, and nobody.
I don't think you can class him quite as Hitler.
Well, you could look at Stalin. Stalin killed 26 million of his own people, lady, in the gulags. He starved them to death because he said he couldn't afford to feed them. Okay, Hitler killed 6 million. Jewish people. Stalin killed 26 million of his own people because he said he couldn't feed them. So what's worse, okay? And this guy's from that ilk. He's from the old KGB Stalin-esque ilk. Okay, he learned from that. Nobody knows anything about Putin for the last 2-3 years. They don't know anything what he's up to with his family. He's running it just like Stalin over there. But he has turned the economy around there. You know, they're not waiting in food lines like they were in the 80s. They've got an economy now. They've actually got a retirement plan now. First time ever in Russia, they've actually got a retirement plan, you know. But people are comparing him to Hitler now. That's what they're doing. He said that these were training maneuvers. Remember at the beginning of this whole thing when he was moving troops there? Don't worry about it. It's a training maneuver. Well, remember Hitler went in the Treaty of Versailles. He said, "Oh, we're not going to invade nobody. We're going to have peace in Europe." And then he went and invaded Poland a week later or whatever. Well, Putin's doing the same thing. These are just simple training maneuvers. We're not going to invade nobody. Well, here he is invading. So I'm going to compare him to Hitler. The whole world's comparing him to Hitler, like
Yeah, well,
1938.
I'm not, because I don't think.
And also, don't forget, he started building up over a year ago on the border. He started putting troops on the border over a year ago. So this didn't just happen overnight.
Well, yeah, and he said these are training missions. Nothing's going to happen. Trust me. Nothing's going to happen, So,
Yeah, but
well, I don't trust
I
him.
mean,
I don't
it's
trust
still,
him.
yeah,
he
but
wants
the
to,
devil,
he wants to regain they want to regain the empire. They want to bring back the old
Yeah, and
Russian
they're
empire.
Putin's costing lives. He started this. He's costing lives. He invaded a sovereign nation. So what happens now is on Putin. It's not on anybody else but Putin, not NATO.
Mm-hmm.
And if NATO didn't let him in, that's between NATO and the Ukraine. If NATO didn't let the Soviet Union or Russians in, that's part of NATO and the Russians. That's their business. But Putin sent the Russians into Ukraine, a sovereign nation, and now we have a mess in the world.
Right.
And it's not on the United States or NATO. It's all on Putin.
Yeah, but it's costing. We're sending from Britain. We're sending from the UK. We're sending 140 million as well. So they're getting a hell of a lot of money, aren't they? If they're getting it from you, they're getting it from Britain.
Well, who's going to
They're
wind
getting
up with
arms
it
from
if
EU.
Russia takes it? Who's going to get that money we're sending over there? If Russia takes it over, Russia's going to get that money. $8 billion of our money, and where I'm from, North Dakota, we got all our oil money over there right now by our crooked politicians in my state. And the people found out now they're demanding our money back. The state taxpayers are up in arms here in the little state I live in. They found out that our state legislature was investing money over in Russia, and they want the money back now, but it's frozen. All these accounts are frozen. I'm telling them, you ain't going to get your money back because the accounts are frozen. You ain't going to get no money from Russia. You're screwed. Our state is screwed. They screwed themselves, by getting greedy, And they wonder why my opponent, John Hoeven, was over in Russia so many times, making deals in Russia. Well, now he was investing over there. And now North Dakota's money is blowing up the Ukraine, and the people are the Germans from Ukraine settled North Dakota. And they were at West Acres telling me all about it. All these people are saying they're blowing up our homeland right now. And then we found out with the money from North Dakota farmers here, from their oil here.
But think also, you have to think who's in the White House. In 2018, he didn't invade. He didn't even do it under Obama. But he must think that Joe Biden has isn't going to do anything. So that's why he's moved and started, trying to take that country over. But the previous three presidents we had, he never tried anything like that because he knew what they would do. So that's another issue. I mean, you got to look at everything, but bottom line, Putin went in, and now whatever happens, all the blame goes to him, not the rest of the world.
Well, they got oil over
because the
there.
rest of the world didn't invade. The rest of the world didn't invade the Ukraine.
Well, there's oil holdings, I believe, or something, right, over there in Ukraine. There's some big oil holdings, and that's what I think Putin's talking about.
You also got the Black Sea.
Right. And
think about that. That's another, I mean, from a military point of view, you bring ships up in there, and you can unload. It's a lot quicker to Moscow than it is to from Germany.
Well, that's what Putin was saying earlier. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and I don't mean to be mean, ma'am, but I mean, you got to look at everything. We have to think about who attacked who, and
But
Putin.
I'll tell you one thing, like you talk about that, why weren't Biden and that getting those poor people who fought in Afghanistan, and they didn't get them out. They're still there.
Well, that's what I was
Okay.
making the point that the previous 2 presidents or 3 presidents we had, Putin would have never tried anything like that because he knew what they would do. They wouldn't, think about it or just sit there. I mean, they would actually have reacted to it.
And left all the stuff there, all the guns and all the rest of it
Yeah.
there.
Well,
Stupid.
it's like I said, though, you know who brought us in there? George Bush brought us in there.
Yeah, but
over
you got to think about what got left.
19 Saudis that were that attacked us that Bush knew was here.
Yeah, okay.
We had 5 countries call us and told us they're in the country.
Let's not go back.
Our CIA, our CIA, Bush's administration dropped the ball on that and kept us over there for 20 years in the Middle East, which we should have never been there.
They didn't give all those weapons.
Yeah,
And it cost us $2.3 trillion, $2.3 trillion.
They didn't give weapons to terrorists.
Well, according to the report I broke here, the report I broke here, they demobilized all them weapons in the helicopter. Everything was demobilized.
How about you get on a plane and you fly over there and you do some lobbying?
Well, Michael, everything was demobilized. Everything was demobilized. The military, I read it and I knew that they weren't that stupid. They made sure that stuff was demobilized and demilitarized. They said it. When they
You're
left
talking about the weapons?
Everything was demilitarized.
You're joking.
The generals came on national TV. I watched it, and I read the reports on here, and I read the stories. They demilitarized all that stuff.
You read a story.
We're not that dumb.
Are you kidding me?
They come on national television. General Hagen and all that came on, and Hansen talked right on the national news. I broke the story on here, and I said I knew our military weren't that dumb. They demilitarized all that.
They demobilized all those weapons. So why did I see a bunch of people on video, on the news walking around with M16s? They were showing them in our uniform.
Well,
walking around with them.
M16s are old. That's old stuff. We got stuff way better than that. They got. Well, the Russians were giving them Kalashnikovs and all that, and all that stuff.
They weren't carrying AK-47s.
Well, they got Kalashnikovs over there.
What we call the M16, the AR-15.
Yeah, the Kalashnikovs.
So you're saying that they shut everything down. Come on.
Well, Wilson gave them back in 80s. He gave them all that when we were fighting Russia. He gave them all that stuff. When we gave him the Stinger missile, he went in and armed them all that old stuff.
Let's stay focused.
No, all that old stuff you're talking about, they give them that. There's caves full of that.
All the stuff that got left over there wasn't old.
There's caves full of that stuff we gave them when Wilson went in there.
Yeah, no.
When they ran Russia out of there, with the Stinger missiles, the Mujahideen, with Osama bin Laden, we armed Osama bin Laden. We created the Taliban, okay? And that was with Wilson's war.
That's not what we were talking about. We were talking about when Joe Biden
you want to
pulled
talk
everybody
brass
out
tacks, I'm telling you you're talking about weaponry that was been over there.
I forgot you were in the military. I'm sorry.
Well, this weaponry was over there since the 80s. All these M16s, they've had that stuff there.
Right. Those Black Hawk helicopters.
They got Kalashnikovs over there. They got all that stuff over there.
Well, they weren't carrying those.
They got caves full of
that.
The
Taliban was carrying M16s.
Yeah, we gave them that. We gave them M16s when we helped them beat the Russians.
No. We gave them when we left. When we left in August.
Wilson.
What are you talking about?
That stuff was demilitarized. We demilitarized all that.
It was not demilitarized.
Yes, it was. I covered it on the show.
It was not.
I read the whole thing. It was demilitarized. They demilitarized all that stuff.
We're going to read an article and believe it, right?
Well, and then the generals talked about it. I read the report out of the Pentagon. I get on there and I watch the Pentagon guys, the generals talking about how they demilitarized that stuff. So, I mean, either believe your military or don't. It's, I don't, you could say it's fake news, whatever, but that's what they say. So
I didn't say it was fake news, but I'm saying if you're watching TV and they're rolling around in Humvees, did they disable those Humvees?
Chris says they're flying our Blackhawks. You think them people that are riding camels living prehistoric would even know how to fly
wait.
a Black
Yeah,
Hawk.
but those people you say
Well,
are riding camels were driving around in
Well,
Humvees.
this guy says they're flying Blackhawks. Well, these guys are so primitive. If you really knew how primitive these people were over there, and he's got them flying Blackhawks. Pretty soon they're flying stealth bombers. That'll be the next one, So, yeah.
But they don't have them. We're the only country that has them.
Sure. We left some of them behind, too, right? Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. So
come on now.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. You ever look at some of the stuff they have and some of these, they don't have much, some of these people. They got what they get from Pakistan, Russia, and us. That's what they get, these cave dwellers over there. They throw rocks and then they run and hide in caves. That's what they've been doing for years. That's why they're so hard to beat. They come at you, they throw rocks at you, and then they run and hide. And then they wait, and then they come at night, they throw rocks at you, then they run and hide. That's how they fight. They've been fighting like that for 3,000 years over there in the Middle East, So what else? Julian, where are you from, Julian? Are you from the UK or Great Britain, or where are you from?
Yes, from the UK,
Okay.
from England.
No, I'm like you. I didn't want war. I didn't want Putin to do that, We were all watching. The whole world was watching. America didn't want him to go. We didn't want him going in there. But you know what we're afraid of? That Russia's got a ton of nuclear weapons, and this nut is talking about using nukes, And, Patton...
He won't.
Patton wanted to knock Russia out.
I think he's just calling bluff.
Well, Patton,
I agree.
Patton said we're going to have...
He won't do it.
George Patton said we're going to have nothing but problems with Russia. They're going to be a thorn in America's ass and the world's ass forever, and he wanted to take them out during World War II.
And he was right.
He said they're weak, and we should knock them out and take them out, and we should have. And they've been nothing but a thorn in the world's ass ever since. And Patton said, let's take them while we can. We could have took them, and nobody wanted to, and we should have mopped them up and took it.
Yeah, well, he's in for a long time, so we'll have to get used to him, won't we?
Well, a lot of people are saying that he's not in good health anymore. A lot of people are saying that I've been listening to a lot of other talk shows. They're saying Putin's health, if you look at him, they don't think he's in that good of health. And he's trying to do this as maybe a last hurrah. People are saying he's
how old is he?
60 or 70. He's 70, I think they were saying. People are saying his health
is he that old?
Yeah. And they're saying his health isn't that good. That's what I've been hearing from a lot of people recently. And
Well, he was in East Germany.
Yeah, and that's what
he was over there in East Germany. He was stationed there.
Yeah.
With the KGB.
Right. He's 69 years old. I always thought he was 70. He's October 7th, 1952. But I've been hearing his health ain't what it was. And people are saying that if you watch him, he's bloated. He's not exercising, doing his jiu-jitsu every day like he used to, and they just...
So you're saying he's losing his mind.
And they're saying he's
deranged, probably.
Right. Well, he's trying to bring back to Russia at his last throes of life because he's getting older and he ain't got what he had, and that's what everybody's saying.
Julian, right? Is that how you say your name?
No, it's Linda. I'm just using his phone.
Oh, okay. Well, Linda, yeah, I agree. The Soviet Union, his dream, that guy was stationed in what was East Germany back in the 90s. So, the early 90s. So he's probably having a flashback, the old Soviet Union, but it's 7 o'clock or 6 in the morning there. In England.
They're 9 hours ahead of us, I think. So it'd be...
No, they're 6 or 7.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's 5.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're getting ready to get up and go do your thing for the morning, and we're all still up the night before. Wow.
No, I'm not sleeping, that's why.
Oh.
I don't sleep very well, so I'm up. That's the problem. That's my problem.
Hey, guess who we're having, Julian? We're going to have Elton John's going to be March 18th at the Fargo Dome, where I live in Fargo, North Dakota, in America. He's going to be here on his last tour. Here he's coming. What do you think of that? Sir Elton John's going to be here at the Fargo Dome, where I live in America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Cyril?
He's getting on now himself.
This is his last
How old
tour.
is he? He's getting on.
God, he's got to be getting up there,
Yeah.
too. This is his last tour, he said. He's going to be in Fargo doing his last concert tour here. March 18th, coming up in a couple weeks. Yeah. Sir Elton John, so that ought to be good. I might go.
I do think they should. Oh, will you?
I might go.
I don't. Mine used. Yeah.
Have you ever seen him in
Sometimes,
concert?
I think.
Have you ever seen him in concert?
No, I haven't.
My son went. He went last time. He paid $150 to go see him, and he was like right in the front row. But it's a lot of money, $150, you know. Yeah, but I might go if I win tickets or something, you know. I'd go see the Beatles. If the Beatles, I'd probably pay maybe $150 to see the Beatles.
I think they're dead and gone.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, we got Ringo and
you show
Paul.
your age.
Ringo and Paul are left. We got Ringo and Paul, and then Julian could go fill in for the dad, and then George's son, George, just like him. We got the kids, Julian Lennon and George. George's kid looks just like him, so get the two sons, and we got them. We got the Beatles back. They should do it. You know, I'd go to that.
Nah, I don't think that's happening.
No, I know, but it'd be good.
Wishful thinking.
It'd be good. I'd go to that. Yeah. That's two people I never met.
No.
Oh, you know, Ringo was in Fargo about 20 years ago. I had friends got to meet him. He stayed here in Fargo, North Dakota. I couldn't believe it. I seen pictures. I'm going, why wasn't I there to meet Ringo? You know, he's pretty cool, you know. Love and peace, peace and love. And yeah, that's what England's all about, peace and love. And it's really a lot more mellower than America.
I don't know this.
How is things going over there with your...
No, don't have. We've got, just like you, we've got a hopeless Boris Johnson.
Oh.
He's bloody hopeless.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't like him. I wouldn't have. He got in through the back door really because of Brexit.
Right.
And because Labour, which is like, they just sat on the fence. And he knew he'd win because we've now gone out of the EU. So basically he just said, well, and we all wanted to go. People were getting sick of being, because it's going on 3 years or so. So a lot of people, because he said, oh, I'll get it fixed, just agreed with him and got him in.
What about a confidence vote?
Got in, basically, through the back door.
Who does the confidence vote? Does he do that, I think, or someone who can do the confidence vote? I know you guys have the confidence vote, which we don't have here.
Well, yeah, they voted him themselves in between, sort of. It wasn't us. First of all, he got voted in, and then he used Brexit to get in again, because they can call an election before 4 years. It's every 4 years. But basically, they called it before. Well, they were the last one we had, which was a woman, Theresa May. They lost confidence in her, so they kicked her out. And then they just basically got this Boris Johnson, who, that wasn't picked by the people. That was picked by the government.
Oh, wow, that sucks. Yeah.
So he got in. None of them was that way. And then Brexit, then he brought up an election. Okay. But that was when Brexit was coming on, and everybody was so sick of Brexit because it's gone on 3 years. So they just agreed with him, and that's how he got in.
Wow.
But he's been absolutely hopeless through the pandemic.
We've
been as...
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll let you finish.
Hello? Are you there? I think her phone might have just maybe passed away.
I was going to ask her if they still use the euro dollar, or do they go strictly to the pound?
Well, she said they're not in the European Union. She said
we
they
lost
got the
her.
sterling.
We lost her.
They're still in the British sterling.
No, right. But I wonder if they still use the euro dollar over there, even though they're not part of the EU. I mean, you know, there's a lot of people there that probably still have euro dollars.
Yeah, I don't think they ever did. No. Yeah. But,
no, they did.
Oh.
They did. It's like in Italy.
Yeah.
They had the lira, and then they all moved over to the euro dollar in Germany. And they were trying to move the euro dollar, you know.
Well, GFJ says they always used the British pound even when they were in the European Union, GFJ. And he claims they never used the euro, is what he said.
Oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah. I don't remember ever using it. I know they back everything with sterling silver, which is cool. You know, they at least back theirs on something. You know, we back ours
On a metal?
Yeah, it's petro.
Paper?
We back ours on petro and paper.
No, we do paper now.
Well,
we don't do petro.
Well, I say we do on petro, on petro dollars, fiat money, petro, you know.
Fiat, that's true. Oh, that's sad that we lost her.
Yeah, she was interesting. The Queen Mother there.
She's probably got to go to work.
We were probably talking to the Queen Mother. Shit, for all that, well, we know she sounded very good. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, but you know what? This is nice to be able to talk to people that are 6 hours ahead of us.
Her phone was dying.
But that's 5 a.m. Yeah, but 5 a.m.
Right.
Germany's 7 hours ahead of us, so what?
Yeah.
That's 6 a.m?
I guess so, yeah. I don't know what the hell. I was thinking 9 hours ahead. I know they get the newspaper headlines before we do it.
No, that's Poland.
Well,
Poland and
England gets the headlines.
Moscow, I think, is 9.
Yeah, but England gets the headlines before we do, because I used to have friends over there, and they'd get the news headlines the day before us, which was kind of cool. You know, and they'd show me the headlines.
It was nice. It was nice talking to her.
I appreciated it. She was a pretty sharp cat, man. She knew everything going on over there with Brexit and everything.
She kept you in line. We didn't argue.
I liked her. Yeah, I like to hear what's going on across the pond there, you know, with our British cousins.
No, that is interesting. It's definitely interesting because they're closer to the situation than us.
Jimmy the Weasel got kicked off the show again, and he calls in as Booba.
Why?
No, what Shannon's asking here, where's Jimmy the Weasel? He got kicked off
Why'd
the show.
Why'd you kick him off the show?
Because he was talking about the president and the daughter having an ancestral affair.
Okay, yeah.
People were getting sick of that stuff, and even the people that were anti-Biden said, this is disgusting. Kick him off the show. So we had to kick him off.
I'm more concerned about things like what we were talking about earlier about, you know, you saying that they demobilized all the military equipment over there in Afghanistan.
Well,
you know, if we're going to talk about that, that's fine.
Well, that's what our general said, and that's what I heard.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying.
Well, at first
about the other stuff.
At first, it come out where I was in the thought like everybody else. Well, these son of a bitches, they left them all that shit, and I seen the Black Hawk helicopter flying around, you know, and I'm going, look at them crazy people. I don't even think they knew how to fly this thing. And but then I found out about a couple days later, they come on, the general said, nah, we ain't that dumb. We demilitarized it. And then you know what I said, because we sent a bunch of computers to China back in the 80s or the 90s and during the Clinton administration. And they tried to hack us, and we had software, and the minute they tried to hack us, our computers, like, exploded on them. And they tried to hurt us, and we had fail-safe mechanisms in there that were kind of reversed and wind up putting a bunch of viruses in all their stuff to crash their networks in China. And that was our software engineers did that. But they got all of our software they bought, see? And that's what I was thinking. Well, maybe the military left that stuff behind in case the enemy got it to thwart it, you know, to thwart everything, you know, if they get it, they probably sabotaged it for the enemy to, you know, you never know, who knows, but that's just where I was at. So, and I didn't want to give up any intelligence because our military is not that freaking dumb. But all I can say is I got the reports afterwards that they demilitarized all that stuff, you know, that we left behind. So, anyway, that's what I heard.
Well, I was going to ask you something.
What's that?
Talking more on domestic. You said you were going to be on radio.
Yeah.
So they weren't able to get you on today?
Well, Joe, what the excuse was that Joe Heitkamp used was I broke this. Well, I didn't break the story. Here's Cousin Ronnie's coming on. he wind up having to break the story on his show about the oil money being over in Russia and all that. Being over in Russia and all that.
Let's back up. Did you just say you got briefed
How you doing, Cousin Ronnie?
by a general?
No, I didn't say that. I said that, I don't know what you're...
No, I believe you said that. I believe you said you were briefed
No,
on a situation.
no, I didn't say that. Someone here said, about Joe,
Chris, can you
Michael
help
asked me,
out
I
on
was
this?
going to go on the radio, and I didn't. I didn't go on the radio because Joel Heitkamp, KFGO 790, the big North Dakota's #1 radio station here, he canceled me about a half hour before I was going to go on the air the second time because he claimed, he called me up and said I had to break the news about the oil money, the $8 billion that was invested in Russia. And they're using our North Dakota oil money to bomb the shit out of Ukraine. That's what Joel Heitkamp said, and he had to cancel me to do that show. So that's why I got canceled. That's what he told me. So, but anyways, so who knows if he's going to get me on? He canceled me twice now to go on, but he had the other two candidates on there.
Is he related to Heidi?
That's Heidi's brother, Joel Heitkamp. He's yeah.
With Michael J. She sticks it to you, not he sticks it to you. That's bullshit.
Yeah, and well, people have been calling all week, I guess, a couple weeks saying, why are you letting these other people get interviews on the show? And your Michael Steele's been running for 4 years. He should have got an interview on there. Why? And you know, Joel's my friend on Facebook. Okay, half the Democratic Party are on my Facebook page. They know I'm running. I've announced and been endorsed by candidates, people, and all kinds of stuff. And I haven't gotten an interview from the #1 political show in the state yet. Yeah. But anyway, I'm going on another radio station interview on the 8th. I'm going on a show with my staff, by the way, from D.C. We're all going on it, and we're going to talk about my plan and everything what's going down, which I talked about on the show tonight, our plan.
Now you talking about D.C., your office?
Yeah, my staff is going to be, we're all going to be on the show, a radio show called K-Rocks. It's K-Rocks Radio out of Crookston, Minnesota, but they cover the western portion of North Dakota, which is good, and them are the people I want to reach, the farmers up there for my campaign. And it's out of Crookston, Minnesota, a little radio station, and they cover the western part of North Dakota they broadcast. So I'm going to be on there March 8th. We're going to be doing it.
Now, tell me this, Michael J. Why aren't they talking to you in your Fargo office with your Fargo folks?
Who's that?
The radio show.
Well,
why is it D.C.?
Well, my D.C. office is going on there. It'll be me and my D.C. staff. Because my D.C. staff are the ones that actually made the interview. They got the interview for me, my D.C. staff. They got the interview.
So they got the interview with Joel?
No, they got the interview with March 8th with K-Rocks Radio out of Crookston, Minnesota. But
okay.
they cover the western part of North Dakota they broadcast. So a lot of the farmers are going to hear that interview, and that's what's good. I want to get.
So why did they cover the western part?
Well, that's their airwaves they cover.
Because Minnesota's on the eastern.
It's a Minnesota radio
channel. Oh, you're right. No, I'm wrong. You're right. I'm wrong.
Well, they're a Minnesota radio, but
North Dakota's west of Minnesota, so disregard.
Well, they're a Minnesota radio station, but they cover parts
I'm thinking of the west part of North Dakota, but I understand what you were saying.
Right.
It's from Minnesota.
It's a Minnesota channel, but they broadcast over the western part of North Dakota, which is good.
So you talked to Joel?
Yeah. I talked to Joel, and he canceled because he...
And he said he's going to interview you.
Well, he's in Florida for a week, so now...
forget about Florida. I'm talking to you.
I've been canceled twice by this guy, so... I mean, this is...
So let's get back to March, the weekend of March 25th, right?
23rd.
Is it 25th or the 20th? 23rd through the 27th.
The 24th through the 27th is the state convention in Minot, North Dakota, where all.
And you're going.
Well, I might go. That's the whole Democratic Party will be there.
What do you mean you might go?
I don't know. I might go and I might not. Shit, I don't know. I don't know. I might make an appearance. Shit, I don't know.
You know what? You have to make an appearance because you're representing your party.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'll probably go. Shit, I don't know. Yeah, that's coming up quick. I got a lot of shit to do. I've been on 9 radio stations already. I've been on.
Yeah, but you have to go.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been running as a Democrat for a couple years. I mean, what craziness?
4 years.
Am I hearing crazy?
Yeah.
Am I hearing crazy?
Yeah, I'll go. See, it's divided. I got people that are for me in the party. Then I got people that are against me.
You have to go.
Yeah, I got people for me, and then I got people that are against me. Yeah.
Could I say something?
What's that?
You know what the difference between Democrats and Republicans?
What's that?
What the difference is?
Well, I'll tell you what
happened. The Democrats
in North Dakota.
know how. Hang on. Can I speak?
Sure.
Let me speak. The difference between Democrat and Republicans, they know how to put on a party. The Democrats really know.
Well, the Republicans
they know how to put on a party. So you know what?
A bunch of money to bomb the shit out of the Ukraine.
You're talking about the Republicans. I'm not talking. Listen.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the Democrats. Go eat the food, drink the booze.
I don't drink.
Enjoy yourself.
I don't drink.
Okay, so go eat food.
I've been sober almost a decade. I'm sober, but I can go eat.
But you need to go. You need to go enjoy because all the Democratic parties I ever been to, they know how to take care of the people.
Yeah, I know. I've been doing.
Go enjoy.
I'll go see some of my old friends. Will be there. Like I say, I got allies there, and then there's some that aren't.
You better go,
my allies.
Man. You've been running for freaking 4 years.
Mike,
you better go.
If you don't go, Michael, send me the tickets. I'll take your place.
I'm going to go. Hey, how you doing,
I'm telling
Chris?
you, the Democrats, they know how to party.
It'll be a party. What's up, Mr. Steele, Michael, Cousin Ronnie? Hope everybody's doing well.
We're doing good.
I'll tell you this. I've been to enough Democratic events, and I'll tell you this. I've never entered the door through the front. I've always come through the back, but I've always had a drink.
Really?
And let me tell you, they know how to take care of their people.
All right. Well, I'll be there. I'll go. It's my night. It's a long drive from where I'm at, but I'll go.
Take a jet.
Yeah, I'll get Chico to come and fly me out there. I think Chico will come get me. My man Chico.
Single prop engine.
Right. My friend Chico from Chico's Bail Bonds from Reseda, California. He'll fly me up there.
Oh, he's got a jet too. Damn. It sounds like he's making too much money profiting off of felons or
that's what he does.
Poor people that can't afford to get out.
He goes with Dog.
He takes advantage of people.
Dog the bounty hunter, all them guys. This guy, he's top notch. Yeah.
Sounds like he's making a little bit too much money, Mr. Steele.
No, he's been at it a long time. He's the best. He's the best.
Is he Robin Hood? Does he steal from the poor and give to the rich?
No, shit, no. He helps me out. That's all I know. He's helped the campaign, quite a bit.
Going into town, and is this your officially announcing that you're going to be running for city council at Fargo?
No, fuck
nice.
that.
Come on.
This guy wants to know if I got a Bismarck office. No, I don't have a Bismarck office yet. I got one in D.C. and one in Fargo, and that's it right now. I don't have one in Bismarck. I should open one in Bismarck. Maybe I will, but I got one in D.C. and one in Fargo. A what?
I have a question for the panel.
Oh, sure.
I don't know. Maybe it's been talked about already. I'm a little late to the party. Sorry. What do you think about tomorrow? Supposedly they're having a lot of truckers coming down that way. I was on 95 today, and police had all 4 lanes slowed down to about 35 miles an hour at different intervals. I'm up and down 95 a lot, north and south, and it's like they were like kind of doing traffic control, like what they do out in the West Coast when they slide back and forth to keep the lanes and say, look, stay behind me, don't go any faster, whatever. It was really weird. I don't know what the point of that was, but I just did. And besides that, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow? Because tomorrow's the day all these truckers, Murica truckers, are coming out.
Yeah.
I think what's going to happen is the old Chris Christopherson is going to be busting out and getting out on the road singing his song Convoy. That's what they made the movie about, just about, 50 years ahead of time.
Yeah, they're going to be coming. They're supposed to come to North Dakota and then Washington, D.C., and they said they're going to make them open the Keystone Pipeline again after it leaked 30 million gallons of oil into the Missouri River here, and the Native Americans that didn't want it here, and they were here protesting for over a year, and a bunch of people in Compton.
You said 30 million?
Yeah, 30 million gallons leaked. And the state
30 billion gallons.
30 million.
When was this?
30 million.
Oh, million.
Yeah, and then the state of North Dakota got $15 million from the oil company Keystone to clean up, which is nothing. And then the head of
But what's that have to do with truckers?
Well, the truckers are coming. The truckers are coming because they said they're going to demand that North Dakota put the pipeline back here in North Dakota. What the natives didn't want it here, fought for a year. It leaked, and then the head of Keystone pulled it out of here. The thing is, it only takes a small portion of North Dakota, but it goes over Native American land, and it doesn't do nothing for North Dakota. John Hoeven got
but what's
got
that
a
have
bunch
to
of
do
money.
with truckers?
The truckers are coming here to demand them bring back the pipeline, and they're saying, screw the natives, screw the Native Americans.
Do you think they're going to be aggressive? So are you saying they're going to be all aggressive if they're going to be demanding things?
Well, they can do what they want. Then they could fight the whole Native American tribes from all over the country. I guess they can come and fight them because they don't want it
I
here.
don't think that's what they're trying to do.
That's what they said. I
saying?
read what they said. Their whole agenda's on their website.
Yeah, but truckers don't just haul oil. They haul
If we open
food.
up the pipeline again,
They haul
it
parts.
could be cheaper.
But they're demanding North Dakota
Right.
brings back the pipeline, and they want to stop the mandate. They said.
They're not just going there for North Dakota, though, Mike. You
That's
have to
correct.
agree on that.
They said
That's
they're
correct.
coming to North Dakota. They're going to do a big thing here. Then they're going to D.C. They're going to come, but they're coming to North Dakota. It's all over the news in North Dakota.
But who cares? I mean, you're saying that
I'm sure they're
pipeline-
stopping everywhere.
Well, they claim they're going to stop here, and they're going to have a big shitstorm in North Dakota over the Keystone Pipeline. It's going to be a pipeline protest, which is it's not here. It's pulled
I don't
out,
think so.
and it doesn't do anything for North Dakota. It helped.
It does everything for the United States.
Well, it didn't do shit because Governor Hoeven wanted it here, and he pushed it for like 5 years. And it goes to him because
he's Senator Hoeven.
Well, he was our governor too. He
senator.
promoted it when he was our governor. He's been promoting this thing. They gave him a lot of money. The oil companies gave him millions of dollars to promote this thing.
Why you got to hang on to that?
Well,
Michael J.
I'm running
Steele
against the
forgot.
guy, and the guy's is all about making money. The guy's made $52 million in Washington D.C. He's all about big
But
money.
you say you care for the people of
The
North
Native
Dakota,
Americans
correct?
don't want it here. It doesn't do
Hang
shit
on,
for North
hang on.
Dakota. It doesn't do
Yeah,
anything.
but the Native
money
Americans
doesn't
are
stay
only
here. They've already
they're only
proved
a
it.
piece. No, Michael J.
It only goes over a small portion of North Dakota.
What about
This
the
is-
German Russians that you have to care about that live in your
That
state?
I
doesn't
think he's
help
got
them.
more than 50 million,
It
though.
doesn't help them.
The least paid senator right now is worth less than not worth less than 125
Well,
million.
then he's lying on his website. He says he's worth $52 million, and he's supposed to be the fifth richest. But then he's lying to everybody. You're probably right, Chris, but then he's lying. He's lied about everything else. So
He's an interesting individual.
Yeah, he is.
yeah. But anyway, it doesn't do any good. People have proven it doesn't do any good for North Dakota, this pipeline, because the money doesn't stay here. It comes through from Canada. It goes to Texas on a ship out of the country. That's where your oil goes. Doesn't help anybody in North Dakota. It's all bullshit.
But does it create jobs?
No, doesn't create shit. It's a pipeline.
What do you mean?
Doesn't create nothing.
Okay, but you need people to maintain that pipeline.
No, you don't. You build it, and oil goes through it. How do you maintain it? It doesn't maintain.
How do you
what
think
about-
they get the parts when something breaks? I mean, you got to ship the
You gotta have
cranes. I
people.
mean, you're the
It's not
people.
supposed to break. It wasn't supposed to leak.
No,
It was up.
no.
It ran.
It's
it
just
ran,
like a car.
It's only going to have a
It ran
2-year
for 2
warranty, Mike.
This thing ran for 2 weeks and it leaked. It ran for 2 weeks. They said it'd last 30 years.
So
and
they
it
hired.
lasted 2 weeks in North Dakota, and it went 30.
So the people they hired were not qualified to, crank down a lug nut.
No, you ever
Well, how are you going to get that lug nut?
My friend used to weld these pipes. Okay, you know how thick these pipelines.
How did he get his welder?
You know how thick.
How did he get his hat?
Yeah, but you know how thick
his glasses, his PPE.
Yeah, it's just how thick this shit is. These pipelines, how thick the walls are on these pipes. They're 16, 18 inches thick. It takes them like an hour to go 1 inch when they're welding these pipelines. That's how thick this shit is.
So what you're telling me right there, Michael J., that whole oil leakage that you're talking about, 30 million gallons, is fake news.
No,
you're not going to need a
real.
trucker to come over there and haul all that out, I guess, either, huh?
That ain't fake news. When North Dakota got $15 million in the lawsuit here 3 months ago, it's not fake news. When you got Native Americans that are sitting there taking pictures of it, and you got wildlife that's going to die in the rivers, people are sick and cancer, and the way it ruined the environment
Michael J.,
there.
What I'm taking from what you're saying is, you're saying this pipeline is 16, 17 inches thick of steel and everything's, bolts and this and that.
You got to remember, North Dakota, we get 40, 50 below zero, and if they don't build that thing just right, and you're under North Dakota, the way our ground freezes and shifts and contorts, we got freezing ground that snaps, freezes, and if you don't know the weather up here and how cold it gets in the Arctic tundra up here, they call it, it don't matter if they don't do it right. They didn't do it right, and the Native Americans were afraid it was going to go in the Missouri River in the drinking water, and that's what the hell it did.
If you do it right, it's a great thing. Is that what you're telling me? So we can.
I never said it ain't a great thing because it don't do shit for North Dakota. What's 10 guys? It creates 10 guys to go in there and it created a lot of jobs cleaning it up, and it cost the oil company $15 million. And the guy that the Keystone CEO was so pissed off, he had to pay a fine in North Dakota. He pulled it out of here. He pulled the pipeline out of here.
Joe Biden.
$15 million is pennies to those guys.
Yeah, well,
they got off on a crack deal.
Yeah, they should have paid the state $100 million for the ecological disaster they caused. That's what I said. They got off $15 million was a slap on the wrist. You're right. They should have paid the state $100 million for the ecological disaster. This is 2 pipelines leaked in North Dakota. We had one in 2014 that did the same thing, leaked a bunch of oil too, that was horrible. And the natives talked about that, said, no, we've already had one that this company put up and it leaked, and we don't need another one here because they don't know what the hell they're doing, and we don't want it on our land. This is tribal land, and there was peace treaties for one, and these are 200-year-old peace treaties, and this was Native American land where they just said, fuck you, we're putting it on your land. Hovind said it, the Army Corps of Engineers, oil people, corporations, everybody told the Native Americans, fuck your treaties, and they put it on there and it leaked. So
listen.
So the Keystone Pipeline was on a treaty?
The land is Native American land. They said we don't want it on our land. They fought for a year. If you guys research this, it was all over news. Mark Ruffalo went there.
Well, it's not going to be on the land. It's going to be above the land.
Billy Ray Cyrus was there. All these actors went there. They had a whole big shootout, and a bunch of people died. It was all over the news for a year. They wouldn't even let them run this
Billy
there.
Ray Cyrus shot and killed somebody.
No.
And Mark Ruffalo.
They had a bunch of actors from Hollywood. There was a protest for a year.
Who cares?
Before they even let them build this thing. Then they built it. They built the pipeline, and then 2 weeks later, the fucking thing leaked 2 weeks later.
Listen.
You just told me people got shot and killed.
Hang on.
During that year, yeah, people got killed. Cops got killed. A woman got killed. People, all hell broke loose in North Dakota. It was all over national news. Where the hell were you people at?
You got to reel him back in, Michael.
Where the hell were you people at? It was all over national news.
Listen, no. Hold on.
Why was Billy Ray Cyrus there?
He was singing
Cousin Ronnie, you're not even in North Dakota. Come on.
He said, my achy breaky heart, we don't want this on our land.
Achy breaky heart, he's from Tennessee.
This is tribal sacred land.
He's from Tennessee, and he's got to worry about his daughter.
He didn't want this stuff on tribal sacred land. They didn't want it on their land.
There.
The Native Americans didn't put it on their land.
Michael J. If you got Russian or German Russians living in North Dakota, right? How many Native Americans are in North Dakota versus everybody
We got
else?
7 tribes here, and we got 38,000 Native
No,
Americans.
I asked
7
the population.
38,000.
You got what,
7
800,000?
tribes. We got 790,000.
No, I don't.
Who's fact checking this?
I asked
I'm
you
telling
about
you right
Who's
now.
fact checking?
Shut the fuck up, and I'll tell you, we got 790,000
I'm not trying. No,
Shut the
Michael
fuck
J.
up.
You're
There
my
you go.
little cousin, and I'm not trying
Can
to
you
argue
shut the
with
fuck
you.
up? We got.
I asked you a simple
I'm telling
question.
you motherfucker. We got 790,000.
Stop cussing me.
We got 790.
Stop cussing
Shut up.
me.
We got
Lift
790,000.
off.
This guy's an idiot.
A Native American.
We got 38,000
No, I
Native
asked a simple
Americans.
question.
We got 38,000.
Native American.
We got 38,000 Native Americans on the in North. We got 38,000 Native Americans on 7 tribes, 790,000 people in North Dakota altogether. There you go. Now, how hard was that? If you'd shut the fuck
Oh, so
up.
only 38,000 of them are Native Americans.
38,000.
That was great info.
On 7 tribes.
38,000.
There's 7 tribes.
7.
7 tribes,
Okay.
38,000
7.
Native Americans that are all potential voters.
Gosh, that's great.
Well, there you go. There you go, Michael.
That's
Was
good
it
for
that
you,
hard to tell
right?
you that, Michael? Well, they're all going to vote for Democratic candidates, they said.
38,000, Michael. He says 7 tribes.
Now, Mike,
Got to make it happen.
That's right.
all the hard work you put in to get those Native Americans to vote for you, now they're going to go vote for the Nebraskan lady, Katrina Christensen. Such bullshit.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to vote for her. Why would they vote for her? Yeah, this guy, there are 5 federally recognized, but there are 7 tribes here. There's 7 tribes.
So how
I'm
many
still thinking
people
about
are
these
in North
truckers.
Dakota?
Yeah, the truckers.
800,000?
790,000 people right now, according to the census.
Okay, so you're saying 38,000 are Native Americans.
Right.
The rest of them, total 780,000.
With everybody.
And is there going to be are we talking about another Little Bighorn here? Is this going to be a Little Bighorn too? And
That was Montana, wasn't it? Or
So
Wyoming?
is this confirmed, GFJ?
Well, yeah, he's pretty close on his numbers there, yeah.
4.9%. Yeah,
well,
31,000.
He's pretty close to what I said, so yeah. Well, our recent total are 38,000, so I'm right in the ballpark. That's what my figures were. He's got 31,000. Because you got to remember, these people had
Nice.
babies. They have babies on the reservation, so. And his figures are
So what's that have to do with the 800,000 that live in North Dakota?
790,000. I don't know. Well, that's how many people we got living here according to the census. Yeah, we just
So
did
they're
our-
only what percent are they?
Well, he's got 4.9%, almost 5%. You know,
Okay,
they've been
now I'm
here
not
forever,
discounting
and the
them.
Native Americans have
I'm
been
not
here
discounting
forever.
them, but my point is the way you're talking is you're going to change everything that everybody in that state does for 4 point whatever percent.
No, the natives are changing it. I'm not changing it. They're changing it. They're changing it too. They're suing the state of North Dakota right now because they gerrymandered 2 tribes joined together this year, and this is all over the
So
national.
4.8% or whatever it is dictates what happens in North Dakota.
Two tribes. I'm going to tell you something. 2 tribes joined together to have 8,000.
I didn't ask you about 2 tribes.
Well, I want to
asked
tell you
about
something.
percentage.
Well, I want to tell you something.
You know what I hear? You know what I
I'm trying
hear?
to tell you something
Cuz
here. I'm trying to tell you something.
Fugazi.
I'm trying to tell you.
I hear
I'm going to try
Fugazi.
to tell you something.
It's all
Fugazi.
Fugazi. I mean, shit, man. I mean,
well,
the way we
you come
grew
up
up,
and you tell
and
the
you hear you're
natives that
sitting
they're
here
going
at
to
Fugazi.
sculpt your
It's all
Fugazi ass.
freaking Fugazi.
Well, they're going to sculpt your Fugazi ass because now let me.
I don't
They come
think they
down
do
here to
that
sculpt my
anymore.
Fugazi ass. You know it
well,
would
I'm going to
happen
tell you.
to
I'm going
them.
to tell you something right now. 2 tribes.
I
up
just
here.
watched Dances with the Wolves. I don't think it's like that anymore, Mike.
Well, you ain't talked to the right tribe. But anyway, there's 2 tribes up here that
I don't
merged.
think you have.
There's 2 tribes that merged. They want to have 8,600 people on this tribe. Okay, the Republican legislature, who's in control, they just split them up right now, and they won't let them merge. They're within a mile
on.
apart. They're within a
Come
mile
on.
apart. They got this. They're suing right now in court, in federal court, because they want to have.
Okay,
they
we can
wanna
get
have,
on another topic.
Chris,
I got another one.
Chris, shut
I
up,
got another topic.
Chris.
Mike, I
Bring it up.
got
Bring
you.
up that
Chris,
other topic, please.
Because they want to have
become
Native American senator in a House of Rep in this area. Republicans don't want a Native American senator or House of Rep, so they gerrymandered these two tribes and they won't let them merge together, and they're within a mile apart. See, if you have 8,627 people in an area of land in North Dakota, you get a district. And they're not letting our Native American brothers and sisters do that because they don't want a Native American senator or a Native American U.S. or state House Rep. So they're suing in federal court right now, our Native American brothers and sisters, because of the Republican gerrymandering in my state right now. That's all I want to tell you, how fucking corrupt it is here.
Okay.
And the show's going off. I'll come back. We